What is up everyone? Welcome back to another video on this channel. As we can see right here, I just bought the cheapest Volvo XC60 in all of Europe. Now I bought this car for around 3,800 euros, and the reason why I got it so cheap is, well, it's far from perfect, but I also actually know the previous owners and they just wanted to sell the car, get rid of it without going through the hassle of selling it to a random buyer, so they offered it to me for this price and of course I accepted it. So yeah, it definitely needs a lot of work and I will walk you through everything that needs to be done with it, but for now let's go out for a test drive to see how it feels. So, been driving around for a little while just to get a feel of the car, and honestly it drives pretty good. I think it's comfortable to drive and it just feels nice. Most Volvos are, in my opinion. But a couple of things that I noticed right away: some vibration in the steering wheel on highway speeds, so I think that the wheels need to be rebalanced. Also some brake judder when you step on the brakes, but that is to be expected because the brakes are totally gone on this car, so I'll definitely need to replace them front and rear. And the AC doesn't seem to work as it should, so I'll definitely need to diagnose that and see if I can do something about it. But other than that, I think the car drives pretty nice. The transmission feels good and healthy, shifts smoothly, does what it's supposed to. The engine seems healthy as well, pulls pretty strong, even though it has over 300,000 kilometers on the clock. But yeah, these engines from Volvo, they're tried and true, so yeah, they can pretty much go on forever as long as you take care of them. So yeah, let's head back to the garage and put it up on the lift, and we will continue the inspection from there. Now, first impressions are actually quite good. Of course there will be some surface corrosion, especially on the suspension components, but for a car that's been driving around in Sweden for over 300,000 kilometers, I think it actually looks pretty good. And you can come a really long way with just a visual inspection. I like to check if any of the boots are torn, if there's any leaks coming from the rear differential or anything like that, if any of the springs are cracked, if the dampers are leaking. There's a lot you can check with just a visual inspection. And I also check for any play in the suspension components, and I think overall it looked quite good. The plan with this car is probably to just fix it and then flip it, hopefully for a profit, so I'll have to keep that in mind and focus more on the things that actually increases the value of the car. With that being said, this is still YouTube content and it's always fun to give your car the love that it deserves. So I'll have to compromise and try to find a good balance in between. So I found a loose connector right here in the engine bay that seems to be going to this thing right here on this hose, which I think is part of the PCV system. And it's quite common nowadays for cars to have like a heating element for the PCV system in one of the hoses or something like that, to prevent ice buildup during the winter so that it won't clog up the system. But I might be mistaken, so please let me know in the comments if you know what that connector is for. My theory is that maybe it got shorted out, the heating element, so someone unplugged it so that the fuse won't pop. But yeah, that's just a theory. Please let me know in the comments if you know what it's for. Also found a bunch of leaves in there, and even though this isn't an engine bay detail video, I'm gonna go ahead and try to vacuum that up because I don't like that there's flammable material in the engine bay. There we go, no more leaves, but as we can see, the engine bay definitely needs a deep clean. There we go, I'm pretty much happy with the inspection, at least for now. I have a pretty good understanding of what needs to be fixed and what parts that I need to order. We have the rusty fenders, of course, which is probably the most obvious thing when you just look at the car. So I need to source a set of used ones or a set of new ones and just have them repainted. The brakes all around needs replacement, so at least pads and rotors, and then we will have to see if any of the calipers needs to be replaced as well. That's usually how it goes. Then obviously the car needs a good detail inside and out. The paint is in pretty harsh condition as it sits right now. So yeah, but I think it'll clean up pretty good after we take care of that rust. So yeah, and the previous owners kept a pretty good record of this car. So that's really nice to see for a change. But I could only find documentations of the timing belt that it was done once at 150,000 kilometers, and now it's over 300,000 kilometers. So I definitely think that it's due for a new timing belt kit. So we will go ahead and fix that as well in one of the future episodes. And also there's a couple of other things, miscellaneous stuff that I probably forgot to mention right now. But yeah, in the next episode I will probably go ahead and do a deep clean of the wheel arches, the underside and the engine bay, just so that it will be nicer to work on. That's usually one of the first things I do to any new cars that I get. So yeah, stay tuned. This was just an introduction video of the car and which state it is in right now. So yeah, stay tuned, have a good one, and we will see you in the next episode.